All right, everybody, Stocks by the Numbers, welcome back. Today is Monday. As you see, it's about 1 p.m. here in the afternoon. We got about 3 hours to go, midday, and we have a phenomenal start here to the week. And I'm hoping that a bunch of you watching these videos here, or at least following these same stocks that we've been looking at, I hope that a bunch of you are involved and actually caught some of these moves here. So let's get into it. I'm looking at 3 stocks today that did very well for us so far. First company I'm looking at, Pilgrims Pride Corporation, ticker symbol PPC, listed here on the NASDAQ. This is one that, in my opinion, was flying underneath the radar. I spoke about this, I think, at least 2 or 3 separate times. I'm looking back here, May 23rd of 22. So that's right here, as you see, as it was exploding here, top of the screen, the O, the H, the L, the C, you can see the stock was like $29, $30 and change, which now you can see is kind of right back to where we were. The company, of course, went on a massive sell-off after I spoke highly about it. And then I did an update video March 10th over here. Top of the screen, you can see stock was about $23 and change. And I said, in my personal opinion, I would be buying more, I would be averaging down, I would play the long haul. This is a chicken company, and obviously we need chicken. They're one of the smaller ones in the space. They're probably going to grow nicely. This was, again, just my opinion. As you see here, stock currently trading $30.82, up almost 2.675% here on the day, hitting new 52-week highs of 31.15. As we see, numbers came out here before the open. We can see a phenomenal beat on the top and bottom line here, coming in with 59 cents a share on estimates of 42.7 cents, over 38.25% beat. And we can see on the revenue side, 4.475 billion. Company comes in post 4.528 billion. Beats those estimates by over $50 million. PPC, in my opinion, I do still like it. And again, the fact that we had a stock over time that had such a big sell-off here, let me show you again. Had such a big sell-off after we spoke about it, and that's what I always say, right? If I look at a stock, again, this is just my opinion, if I look at a stock and I see a stock that looks well in the numbers and I see growth over time and it's at 27, 28, 30, and if I was to personally start to build a position and buy in, and then they want to beat the stock up and bring it down to 25, 24, 23, hey, listen, if I liked it up at 28, 29, 30, I'm going to love it at 23, 24, 25. So any of you who had this one on your watch list, saw the broader picture here, and you stepped in and you took a position on PPC, congratulations, because in my opinion, I always liked it, I always spoke highly about it, and now we're seeing a little bit of a reward finally, bringing us back above that $30 level. Now, of course, the RSI exploded, and you can see the RSI here on the daily sitting a touch over 78.25. So, of course, we could potentially flatten out, sausage a little bit, or maybe pull back and retest this top Bollinger Band here, just sub 30, before the stock maybe takes the next leg higher. Because in my opinion, I do still think it's undervalued. Excuse me. The company just brought in, what was it? $4.5 billion. We have a market cap $7.3 billion. Now, I appreciate the fact, again, that the margins have taken hits. We have a PE sitting here at 218. So I can appreciate the fact if some of you may be hesitant to step in here, but low beta. Again, overall, I felt it was undervalued in the numbers. You're seeing phenomenal beats here, 4 quarters in a row on the EPS side. Look at this growth here. Look at this growth annually. First of all, forget about what happened here after lockdowns and everything like that. Look at this before here, $10.9 billion for 2018, up to 11.4, up to north of 12, right? The company was growing roughly $500 million in annual revenue year over year. And then, of course, with the hyperinflation, we have the massive explosions here in revenue, as you see, going from 12 to almost 15 as of 2022, almost 17.5 billion. And now with this 4.52 billion coming in, if we add this up right here to Q1, 2, and 3, the company, I believe, might be actually just shy of this 17.46 billion number, but I believe, just off the top of my head, quick arithmetic, I believe I came up with about 17.3 billion. So we're seeing a slight dip there year over year. However, again, seeing where the company came from, a slight dip in my eyes isn't really a red flag. What shows more of a green flag to me is the fact that the company was actually able to maintain that $17+ billion annual revenue mark. But again, that's just me. MACD obviously flying high, popping straight up here. And in my opinion, it really should. Again, if it wants to retest this top Bollinger Band, that's fine. But in my opinion, it really should stay 30 plus and should continue to climb over time. And of course, we have our big pop here on the daily. So what happens to our Bollinger Bands when we have a big pop or a big drop? We begin to trumpet and widen. So now, hopefully, this slowly curls and starts to come up and act as future support levels for the stock. Switching over here on the weekly, kind of same scenario, right? We're at the top of the range here. You can see top Bollinger Band just about 30 as well, which is why I feel the pull back to 30 or a couple of cents sub 30 may be justified in my opinion. The MACD has been climbing significantly well, and we can see here on the RSI on the weekly as well, we're sitting here at about 74 and a third, right? So that's what I'm saying. Now it could potentially be viewed as overbought, but again, this is just like a benchmark theory that people use. We've seen other stocks like SMCI with the RSI run up to north of 70 and actually stay there for a while. So anything can happen, but of course, in my opinion, can't go wrong with the chicken company, and PPC comes out with phenomenal numbers. Next company we are looking at, CleanSpark. Ticker symbol CLSK, listed here on the NASDAQ. Stock right now sitting at around $20 a share, up over 3.5 points, 21.5% here. Was up a little bit more, as you see, hitting new highs today of $20.73. This one, I always give credit where credit's due. Shout out to Barry in the Discord. And Barry brought this one to our attention. And you can see here, I don't even remember when we first looked at it here. Let me get you a date. First looked into CleanSpark June 28th of 2023, right there. And you can see top of the screen, the O, the H, the L, the C. Stock was sitting between 420 and about 4.5. And then we came back July 7th, obviously, at north of $5 here to talk about how awesome we are. August 24th, right there. As you can see, we had like that little wedge forming. I was talking about how awesome the company was. They had just come out, even though there was a slight miss on the revenue side, we were looking at the growth, the consistent growth in revenue, going from the 10, 20 million mark up to the 40, 45 million mark. And they were forecasting not only bigger and better things, but also touting their efficiency, if you recall, and the power management as well, right? They were able to do more with less. So there was more value when compared with a lot of the other miners, in my opinion. So, of course, anytime Bitcoin pops up, we see that these miners go absolutely out of control. But I think the fact that CleanSpark was just flying underneath the radar, and then, of course, came out and said that they were the most efficient. And then, of course, I believe when comparing them to the other miners, they were kind of forecasting more growth than some of the other stocks were. So that's why I feel like, in my opinion now, it's like the cat's out of the bag, and now CleanSpark is just running. But the last update we did was December 4th. Right there on that pop, right after those earnings, and you can see the stock was $6, $7 a share, and then pops up into the 9s. And of course, the company again with a slight miss on the revenue side, but it was the growth in revenue that they were looking at. The company reports positive EPS when estimates were minus 13 cents a share. And of course, Bitcoin was running this whole time, right? So Bitcoin sold off, the stock pulled all the way back. Look at this, to 6.5, and then boom, beelines all the way up here to almost 21. And of course, the company reported earnings just a couple of weeks ago, as you see here on February 8th, coming out again EPS positive on estimates of a loss of almost 26 cents a share. And look at that growth in revenue. Now we're approaching almost 74 million. And again, a couple of quarters back here, 20 million. Now 70 plus million. What do? In my opinion, we work smarter, not harder. We follow the money. We follow the revenue. Shout out to all you guys in CleanSpark CLSK. Big winner here. Let's look over at stock charts very quickly, and we can see we actually still random add. We actually still have a little bit of room to go here on the top Bollinger Band on the daily, sitting there at 2153. The stock topped out today, as you see on the high, 2073. So we do still have a little bit of potential. Nice bike going by. We do still have a little bit of potential. The RSI, of course, up here at 73.62, but we've had high RSI on this stock before. Reason being is because this is a Bitcoin miner, so it doesn't necessarily follow all of these technical indicators that we might look at, right? The MACD is actually flying to the moon right now, but in my opinion, that is not the indicator, because as a Bitcoin miner, the one thing that matters is Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin has another update tomorrow and it's up another even 1 or 2%, chances are something like CLSK is going to see at least another 3, 4, 5%, and it's probably going to pop up there to the 21 and change mark and get near that top Bollinger Band. So the RSI, the MACD, in my opinion, really has nothing to do with the situation. And if people are still bullish on Bitcoin, and now we're going to push back up to the 55K, 60K mark and start getting back to those milestone benchmarks, then obviously chances are something like CLSK may go with it. The market cap now is approaching $4 billion. So looking at how much the company is bringing in, you know, even though these are good numbers here, of course, we could make the argument that the stock is overvalued here in the numbers, but again, it's going to move with Bitcoin. So, you know, we kind of know what's going to happen here, potentially, if Bitcoin keeps running, of course. RSI here on the weekly approaching 76. Again, not really a main indicator in my opinion. And we can see that since about November, with not only the stock market running, but of course Bitcoin gaining some momentum as well, we can see that CLSK has been absolutely exploding, causing the Bollinger Bands to trumpet out. And you can see the widening rise here on the top Bollinger Band. The bottom one's probably down here, and hopefully beginning to curl and come up. Just look at the fact that a few months ago, this stock was $4 a share. Today, sitting north of $20 a share. I mean, absolutely phenomenal, because that's what we do on this channel. We find winners, baby. The MACD has been basically climbing since the middle of 2022, but in my opinion, it's all about Bitcoin. People love these miners, and CleanSpark has shown itself in the numbers to not only be growing, in my eyes, at some of the fastest rates out there, but also, again, more importantly, touting the fact that they are more efficient on actually less power. So that's why I think they may be rewarded the most over time. There was one more. Oh yes, everyone's favorite AI stock. Look at this sumbitch. And we are looking here at SoundHound AI, ticker symbol SOUN, listed here on the NASDAQ. The word is out. The children now, apparently, look, now I'm getting updates here. Oh, Wall Street bet stocks are open. So now SoundHound is on Wall Street bets, even though they're roughly 150% too late. Hey, listen, we'll take it. So SoundHound, ticker symbol SOUN, listed here on the NASDAQ. Stock $4.92. As you see, broke above $5 recently, $5.02. Old 52-week high hit last time we originally looked at it and brought it to your attention here on this channel at around 2, sub 2. The stock ran up to 5+ on the AI boom there. And then, of course, everyone and their brother took profits. But hey, what do we do here? We accumulate positions. We piece our way in. We buy as many shares as we could for the longer term, especially in my opinion, if we see nice, steady revenue growth in the long term. That's going to help pump our stock up. So the stock right now, again, touch below $5, up a full point here, 25.25%, we'll call it. Absolutely rocking and rolling. We now have a market cap north of $1 billion here. Excuse me, up to 1.2 billion. Yes, very volatile, right? Look at this beta here, north of 3.5. The company's still losing money per share. Look at the growth on the EPS side. That, of course, is a nice feather in the cap, and in my eyes, of course, a green flag. But more importantly, it is the growth in revenue, right? Slowly stepping up here, 6, 8, 12, 13. And again, of course, we know that anything can happen, right? So if the company happens to come out with some light numbers, we could potentially have a big sell-off before we take that next leg higher. But look at the revenue estimates here, now up to north of 17.75 million, right? So then what did I tell you about these up-and-coming companies, especially a company like this, AI, tech stock, in the growing phase, in the infancy stage. I'm sorry, too much coffee. What did I always say? I said that in my opinion, it is about the revenue growth here at this point. It is not about the profitability. And as you see, the company with the slight miss there on the revenue side, miss on the EPS side, still had to rally off the AI boom, and then we come and you can see estimates 8 million, they come in 8.75 million. Estimates over 12.75 million, they come in north of 13.25 million. So this is what we're looking for. They're consistently signing new clients. People are touting at how much they appreciate their software, how much more efficient it is, how much more time they're saving, and I'm telling you, in my opinion, I am seeing nothing but up and up here from SOUN. Now, again, we could have a pullback, right? Because we just went on a massive run. We could have a pullback. We had the news come out. You had, who was it? NVIDIA announced that they had a small investment into SoundHound. Everyone and their brother jumped on board just because they saw the word NVIDIA. And now we can see that the stock has gone from the low twos to almost $5 a share. So, of course, anything could happen and we could pull back, especially with this moving average coming up here to this trend line potentially. As you see, there's around $3 right here. So in my opinion, we really could have a massive sell-off and it could be viewed as justified. However, in my opinion, after said sell-off, if numbers beat, we could probably bounce and go even higher. 17.75 million on the estimate side. And again, based on the new clients that they've been signing and the fact that the word is spreading, I actually think, in my opinion, they have a very, very good chance to beat on that revenue estimate number. But of course, we know earnings are 100% a gamble and are unpredictable. So we have to see what happens. But overall, it does look good. Look at this chart. Absolutely exploding. The bottom Bollinger Band is probably down here somewhere, so that's going to take a while to curl back up. But look at the RSI up here, sitting at 85.25. I'm getting dinged like crazy. Discord is going wild. And as you see here, the stock is now well above the top Bollinger Band of 476. Stock still sitting here at 494. With a high RSI. This is why I'm saying a pullback could happen. However, I really do believe that now the word is out. Of course, we have people on Wall Street Bets now talking about it. They're all jumping in here. Everyone's hyped about the upcoming earnings. Everyone sees it's an AI stock. It might be huge 3 years from now, so I'm going to just buy it now. And obviously, all of this added volume, this added hype, that's what's adding to this value here of SoundHound. And in my opinion, long term, I still like it. And I got to pat myself on the back a little bit. I mean, I've given you guys multiple updates on SoundHound, and practically every time I looked at it, I was pretty pumped about it and pretty positive on it. And for the record, I do not have a position in SoundHound, but we can see the MACD has absolutely flown up to the moon here just inside of the last couple of weeks after that NVIDIA announcement. But overall, I think it looks good. And again, with a situation like this, I can appreciate the fact if you want to play like the RSI or a potential like MACD cross to try to time a sell-off and a dip to get yourself back in. But in my eyes, I just think it's the story and it's the revenue growth that's just going to take it higher. As you see, look at this. Going all the way back here. What is this? It's about mid 2022. You can see, look at this RSI here. Staying right in between the benchmarks for, we're talking what, over a year and a half straight. Getting as high as, where did we go? Yeah, what's that, like 65, maybe 66? So it almost hit that 70 benchmark, and then it started to sell off. And same thing over here with the RSI on the bottom side. What did we hit? Yeah, see, it's about 38.5, and then we started rallying. So we never really hit that 30 oversold benchmark, and we never really hit that 70 overbought benchmark. But as you can see here on the weekly, RSI up here north of 77.33. That's why I'm saying, in my opinion, we could potentially have a little bit of a pullback. However, again, I think that the word is out. Now people, you know, I don't want to beat them up, but hey, like we call them, Johnny come latelys. But hey, listen, again, if we turn around 3, 4, 5 years from now, and this is the main player in the voice AI software space, again, it's not going to matter where you really bought the stock, because you're going to be pumped that at least you were involved. And I'm going to end it there, because those are 3 names absolutely flying here that I spoke about multiple times and was overall consistently positive with my analysis. You can go back, you can check all the videos. So at the end of the day, We like winners here. We find winners. We buy winners. But again, this is just my opinion. It's not financial advice. But hey, I'm going to end it there because, you can only speak so highly about yourself before coming off as cocky and arrogant. So, once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Join the Discord if you like. Discord link in the description of every video. Free for you guys to come in. You can talk about stocks. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about sports. I really don't care. But what I want you to do me a favor. Like the video. Thumbs up. Algorithm, right? Helps me get more eyes on the channel. YouTube loves that stuff. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. I don't mind sitting here all day staring at a screen analyzing stocks. Believe it or not, I actually enjoy doing it. But what I need you to do, I just need you to subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky and volatile and they are very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.